Welcome to Category 5 Technology TV. This is episode number 528?
Something.
38.
38.
38.
What time is it again?
There's so many, you losing count.
Whoa, it's 5:38 already. Wow. Tonight we're going to learn more about Lynspire Linux and its re-release, its rebirth from the grave. We're going to be speaking with one of the new owners and learning about how their company is going to bring Lynspire back, what kind of Linux experience they have in developing and distributing Linux distros, and we're going to get some insight into the controversy from days gone by with the old Lynspire as well. But perhaps most importantly, we're going to learn how the new Lynspire is going to give back to open source. Stick around. We've got that interview coming right up.
Also, here's what's coming up in the Category 5.tv newsroom. We'll explain the latest threat, dubbed Meltdown and Spectre. Lithium-ion batteries in HP notebook computers and mobile workstations that are not customer replaceable are being recalled. We'll tell you which products are affected, so stick around. Remember the VTech hack we reported on back in 2015? The FTC has finally reached a settlement deal with the toy maker. And Toyota is working with a handful of companies to create an autonomous electric fleet of vehicles. Stick around, the full details are coming up later in the show.
This is Category 5 Technology TV.
Our live recordings are trusted only to solid-state drives by Kingston Technology. Revive your computer with improved performance and reliability over traditional hard drives with Kingston SSDs.
Category 5 TV streams live with Telestream Wirecast and Nimble Streamer. Tune in every week on Roku, Kodi, Plex, and other HLS video players. For local showtimes, visit category5.tv.
Category5.tv is a member of the Tech Podcast Network. If it's tech, it's here. cat5.tv/TPN and the International Association of Internet Broadcasters, cat5.tv/IAIB.
Welcome to the show. It's episode number 528, and it's so nice to have you here. Now, we've got a fun show planned for you. I mentioned that we are on Kodi there off the top of the show. Kodi being like a multimedia player, and sweet. Our channel has been upgraded.
Nice.
1.1.4 was released this week. Thank you to the community for helping out. And just a note, now when I showed our Kodi channel on the show, we had the problem happen. But I didn't know because it was working on all of my other computers.
Right.
It turned out that the problem with our Kodi channel, showing a blank screen, was something to do with Kodi itself being a particular version, and there were like a few different versions that had some compatibility issues. That has been fixed.
Right.
So head on over to our website, category5.tv, scroll all the way to the bottom, click on subscribe, and you'll see our Kodi channel there. And if you already have it and is working great, still upgrade. That's going to give you the latest and greatest channel of Category 5. Now, I want to mention, over the past few weeks, we've been talking about 4K cameras, and we've been using 4K cameras, and we've got 4 of them that we're reviewing and comparing. Tonight's show, however, we are foregoing the 4K comparison.
What?
What? Why would we do that? Well, it's because there was a huge announcement this past week that threw our schedule out the window. And so tonight, instead, we are going to be talking about Lynspire 7.
Yes.
Very cool.
But I want to tell you, a Skype video interview is not a good way to demonstrate a 4K camera.
Really?
Yeah.
I can't figure out why.
Because the video quality may be a little less than you're used to when it comes to Skype video.
Right.
That's okay. So next week we're going to be reviewing and showing off the final camera in our 4-camera set. That's the JVC HM170.
By the way, you look good in 4K.
Thank you.
You too, Sasha.
Hey, thanks, Jeff. As do you.
Well, what do you know?
A lot of viewers have been sending in questions, comments, and we've got kind of a bank of these all set aside, and we know that you've sent in your questions. So if you have sent a question as of late and you haven't heard it on the air yet, we have booked next week's show as a viewer question extravaganza.
Those are my absolute favorite episodes. It's like Merry Christmas to me again.
It's a great opportunity for us to converse with our community.
Yes.
So, and also maybe, and hopefully help you out with some of your tech issues or whatever else.
I like it. I'm
looking
excited.
forward to it. Jeff, you were mentioning before the show, can we bring up your data theft issue?
Yeah.
Something that...
So something happened on my computer. So last weekend the show, I was telling you how my computer went wonky and it was taking 10 minutes to load.
Yeah.
Right.
And this is a new computer that we reviewed in the show about a year and a half ago. So it's not an old system. I'm very careful on what I do. But there was 2 days where it was going crazy slow. And all of a sudden it's working fine again. And you thought maybe it was a driver issue or something.
I thought maybe the bootloader, maybe the Windows
could be that too, because I've got a dual boot.
Because you mentioned it was the boot process that was taking a long time.
Right. So Monday I get an alert from ESET, because I've got the ESET protection on my computer, that there was unauthorized attempt to access my computer through a dummy account. And
oh, what?
Through the dummy account.
Like RDP sessions or something? Somebody trying to connect in?
It didn't say. It just said we've flagged an unauthorized access to your dummy account, and so we've locked it out.
No, you misread it, Jeff. It's we flagged unauthorized access, you dummy.
Well, that could be it too. But I was at work at the time, so I wasn't there. And then in the last, that was Monday, so we're a couple days. And in the last couple of days, I've received alerts that all of my email accounts have been accessed from various countries.
Oh. Like how Gmail sends you an email saying,
yes.
So have you changed your passwords?
Not yet. They've all come in today as I'm at work.
Oh.
So I have this is like fresh off the press stuff.
Yeah.
I've got a couple Gmail accounts. I've got a GMX account, and they've been accessed in Russia and India.
And you have not been in Russia nor India?
In the last week, no.
Okay.
So, yeah. And
maybe on the break, you should get in and start changing all your passwords.
Well, that's what I'm going to do.
I think that's, what that tends to be. If somebody hacks your accounts, one of the first things they want to do is change your password so that you get locked out.
Absolutely. So I'm sitting here going, wow, this is nuts. I've never been party to data theft, and it appears that is what's happened. So, and now it's questioning my computer because it's saying it's clean. So I'm wondering how they got in.
So ESET said alert.
Yes.
But it was too little too late. So, and I bring up RDP, Remote Desktop Protocol.
Yeah.
A lot of us have remote access turned on our computers so that when we're at work or wherever, we can access it and do our stuff.
Right.
And by
default. Is that something that happens by default? Because I wouldn't know if mine was on or not. I would never try and access my computer.
Yeah, in some versions it is, but file and printer sharing, remote desktop protocol, these are all ways that your system is shared. Yes.
I just had a light bulb moment.
Oh?
On Friday, I contacted QuickBooks because I was having an issue with my QuickBooks, and they used a web service where they can...
They opened up a remote desktop connection of some sort. So what's interesting about remote desktop and these kinds of services is that people can try to hack into your account and you would be none the wiser.
Right.
They guess at your password. They guess administrator, we know, is a username on a Windows machine. So that's the first place to start. And then try all kinds of brute force attacks, and you'd never know until they get in.
Yeah.
But then it's too little too late.
I wonder if there's something related to the service that they used.
Perhaps. Maybe it left some residual behind, and it was legitimately Intuit that you talked to?
Yeah, legit.
So just something about their software.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's an interesting kind of thought, that we have to be careful, even if we're dealing with legitimate companies, that maybe the software that they're using could leave some residual behind.
Contact them.
Yeah.
Yikes.
Frightening
Anyways,
stuff.
yeah, that's been my week.
Well, on that note, have you ever had the experience of data theft, or have you suspected such a thing? Jeff has got to take a really quick moment to change all his passwords. That's the first thing he needs to do, and we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to be checking out Lynspire 7. You heard me right.
I'm excited.
Stick around. Jeff Weston.
Yeah, man.
You're building a brand new, beautiful website.
What?
Aren't you?
No. Am I?
Oh, you're a terrible actor.
What?
This is where acting comes into play.
Oh, I didn't know we were acting.
You're supposed to act.
Okay, fair enough. All right.
I'm building a really cool website. Are you building a really cool website? Just because Jeff is confused doesn't mean you have to be. Visit cat5.tv/dreamhost to sign up for unlimited web hosting for your website with unlimited email accounts, MySQL databases, the latest version of PHP, WordPress, and more, and even a free domain name registration. It's less than $6 per month, so sign up today. cat5.tv/dreamhost. Welcome back. This is Category 5 Technology TV. Back at the end of December, at NuttyPro69 on Twitter sent us a message and said, at Category 5 TV.
Lynspire was the very first Linux operating system I tried because of you guys back in the day. And today it is free from pc-opensystems.com.
Whoa.
That's nutty.
Hold on. Wait, yeah. Are you nutty? Lynspire's been gone for 10 years now, my friend. So
It's been that long?
Yeah, 10 years. 2007. So 11 years. What?
I do miss it.
Oh,
You
yeah.
opened me up to Lynspire.
Lynspire was a great distro that was set up in such a way that it was built for the desktop.
Yes.
It's Linux, but it was built to help people migrate from Microsoft Windows to the Linux platform.
And it was so good.
Oh, it was very, very good, especially for the time. Now, here's the thing. I warned the nutty one and said, you got to be careful because anyone who's claiming that Lynspire is available for free right now, this is an old distro that was discontinued.
Yeah, and it was commercial.
And it was a commercial distro,
shouldn't
too.
have been free.
Right.
So then I started looking into it, and guess what?
What? Tell us.
PC OpenSystems LLC purchased the source code of Lynspire. They purchased the trademarks of Lynspire.
So everything.
Including not just Lynspire, but also FreeSpire, which is the free open source version of Lynspire, being the commercial distro.
Right.
We're going to learn all about it tonight. Here's the thing. Lynspire, as we mentioned, was always like the best desktop OS way back in the early days.
Yes.
So, like we're talking 2001.
Yeah.
And
for Linux.
Oh, yeah. So it started out as Windows OS.
Yes.
And then, like, 12 months later, Microsoft got word of this and sued them.
Yes.
Because it rhymed.
Just like they did with that Mike Rowe guy.
Because it rhymes. Yeah. So they had to change their name, and it became Lynspire. But Windows, Lynspire, they're synonymous. They're one and the same. But here's one of the things that really was a big deal about Lynspire and Windows in particular, is that it was the first Linux operating system to find retail distribution.
Yes.
Right.
We're talking Walmart and Sears, and like you could walk into a big box store and for $199 pick up a computer that has Linux on it, and it was Windows OS.
Very cool.
Those were the days. So
I'm fairly certain I bought mine from Future Shop.
really,
When they were around for $50.
wow. Can you?
Because I have. Okay, so last week I said I had. Last week I said I had the disc.
Yeah, right. Where is it?
I don't have the disc.
No,
I was cleaning out my drawer. Turns out I tossed the disc,
no.
but I have the case.
You have
Didn't
the
it
case.
spark joy, though?
It did spark joy, but
You thought we would never need it.
Well, exactly. I thought, hey, it's obsolete. It's not used anymore. What's the point of having it?
Right.
Little did I know, 2 weeks later, I'd need it for like wonderfully topical nostalgia purposes.
Well, and if you want some nostalgia, go back to episode number 303, because I found an old laptop in my storage area that had Lynspire 5 installed on it. So check that out, episode number 303. Now, 10 years ago, the final version of Lynspire came out.
Yeah.
And then the company was it was dissolved.
Yes.
It went under. And we're going to talk a little bit about that in just a few minutes' time with someone in the know. But out of the blue, back on January 2nd of this year, that's when we got the announcement officially. So we saw that they were giving it away for free at the end of December, but officially January 2nd of this year, it was announced that they had purchased the trademarks and the source code, and it's time to bring Lynspire back from the grave. So would you help me welcome Roberto Jade? He is the lead consultant and system designer for PC OpenSystems LLC. It's important to note that Lynspire is now owned by a completely different company. So can you introduce us, please, to your company and how it differs from, say, Lynspire?
Okay. Well, my company's PC OpenSystems. We not only do software development, we also do hardware development. What I mean by hardware development is that, like with our software, we have a custom ISO project where we take a completely bare system and install whatever programs you need and whatever drivers you need in the system. The hardware side is the same way. Pretty much, you tell us what you need when it comes to hardware. We build it for you, or we take a generic system and add those components, and then we ship it out to you.
So what's your experience as far as Linux distributions go?
Oh, I go all the way back to Gen 2. I started actually developing Linux distributions back in 2006. I started with a Gen 2 base, and I started with an operating system. I don't know if you ever heard of it. It's called PCOS. Pretty much it was just the initials of the company, and basically what it was to give our customers a long-term supported distribution of Linux that they could use, and because back then, I don't know if you remember, but the lifespan of the distros was only like 6 months.
Right. And if you're using Gen 2, you don't want to have to reinstall every 6 months, let me tell you that.
Right, exactly. And so back then, the lifespan was only like 6 months. And corporations, they had a hard time adopting it, especially on their desktops, because they want something that will last years, not just months. Mm-hmm. And so that was one of the main problems that we had with it. So we went ahead and went that approach. We made Gen 2 to where we would update it, we would distribute it, but we would go through all the hard work of having to apply updates, patches, drivers, etc.
So you've been distributing your own Linux distribution since as far back as that? Wow. Yep. So why now here in 2018 are we all of a sudden hearing that you've bought Lynspire of all things?
Well, we bought Xandros. We bought the entire thing from Bridgeways. I don't know if you know what Bridgeways was.
Weren't they like they hold the trademarks and things like that?
Right. And what they did was that they also produced some connectivity products for Windows.
Okay.
Anyway, but they were going down the way of the dodo. So we went ahead and talked to them, got the trademarks and everything, got some other property from them, and what we were doing was Black Lab, and I wanted to really see that form as a community, the distribution, and I wanted to see that thrive with the community. Because one of the things is that if you have a community edition, then you have the commercial edition. What happens is sometimes the commercial aspect of it gets in the way, and the community really doesn't want to actually get involved in it because they feel, hey, it's a commercial interest, not a community interest.
Right.
And so what we decided was we needed to go ahead and find a way to break away Black Lab from the community edition. And
Black Lab being your distribution that you were currently distributing?
Right.
Okay.
And we figured we needed to go ahead and find a way to keep that into the community and find another way to keep our commercial interests separate from it. And so this way it doesn't pollute the waters, as some people would normally say.
So when you speak about the differentiation between the community edition and the commercial edition, are we talking FreeSpire versus Lynspire here, or?
Well, Black Lab was always a server type distribution.
Yes, yeah.
And what happened was that I wanted to start back to doing the desktops. So that's the reason why we have FreeSpire as well. FreeSpire's
right.
Free desktop OS.
Right.
And I don't know if you've read our marketing and things like that, but I know I sent you an ISO of Lynspire.
Yeah, and we're going to take a look at that in a few minutes' time. But and it's all very sudden. I mean, this is a big announcement all of a sudden that surprise, Lynspire's back, and it's taken a lot of people, by storm, especially those of us who used it back in the day. Now, when Lynspire shut down, however, we can talk about all the great things that Lindos and Lynspire did, but of course, when they shut down, there was a lot of controversy surrounding the company. Like Michael Robertson was suing the bank, he was suing the staff who created the very OS. Free open source software advocates were condemning Lynspire for being kind of against the FOSS mindset. So you have to understand, and you must be very aware, more so than even myself, of the kind of controversy that you have bought into with the Lynspire brand, in that all of a sudden you're bringing back to light not just a great distro, but all of the controversy that surrounded that distro. So how do you, with this new version, understanding that this Lynspire is a new Lynspire based on the old one, brought out by a new company, how are we going to address those kinds of concerns from the community and all the kind of negativity that surrounded Lynspire Inc. back in the day?
Well, if you look at FreeSpire right now, FreeSpire, basically what we did, we removed all the proprietary codecs. We have some proprietary drivers in there, but they're mostly for the hardware that they need to support, that people wanted to support.
Yeah.
And so what we want to do is create, on FreeSpire, have something that the FOSS people can use, as well as just any generic computer user can use. And we want to educate the public, especially not the FOSS public, the people that just computer users in general, about that free and open source software, pure free and open source software, can actually thrive and is usable. Because right now, if you look at the landscape, people say with FOSS, the distributions out here that like are GNU certified. That's
right.
If you look at those, a lot of people have this thing in their head that they're very hard to use, and that they're no good.
If they're free, you mean, without the proprietary codecs and all that?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so what we wanted to do was go ahead and reintroduce FreeSpire as something that the FOSS community can get behind, as something any computer user can get behind. So just now, one thing, I don't know if you remember this, but Lynspire Incorporated used to actually, it was $45 or $49 a year. Right. That was non-negotiable.
Click and run access and all that stuff, yeah.
Right.
Can I just touch on, before we get into that, can I just back up just a little bit for those viewers who are watching here, Roberto, that maybe are not familiar with free open source, and what's the difference between free versus, because when we think free, we think about something that's given out. That's
free
one thing.
Right.
But when we talk free open source software like FreeSpire and removal of proprietary codecs, what we're talking about is things like MP3. The ability to play MP3 files is a proprietary thing. So this is something that a patent has to be paid for in order to do legitimately. So Lynspire was, you would pay for that distro and it would come with all this great stuff available built into that, where the free open source versions of Linux would not include those things because they are proprietary. So I kind of felt like at the time, so we're going back to 2006, I think, in around there when FreeSpire came out. I believe it was around there. It kind of felt like Lynspire Inc. was reacting to the open source community's condemnation of the commerciality of Lynspire by bringing out FreeSpire. I mean, somebody else actually brought out the first FreeSpire version, which was a stripped down version of Lynspire. So I'm getting the impression from our conversation here, and I would love to hear your perspective on this, but getting the impression that that your company, on the other hand, has more of a community-centric focus with the commerciality aspect as well for the commercial customers. And Ubuntu has taken a similar route, Canonical, with distributing the OS for free and then having commercial support, whereas you're talking about having a free version available and then having a commercial version for the commercial user. Am I right in that, from just hearing you speak, I'm feeling like there's more of a community focus here?
Right, there is more of a community focus. We've always been focused on the community. And with Lynspire, of course, it's a totally different product here, okay? That's a commercial product, okay?
Yes,
that
And is that because of codecs and drivers and things like that, or are there other proprietary things?
Right, things that we actually have to pay for,
right,
in order to be able to distribute them.
Right.
See, like somebody came to me the other day in the email and was like, "Well, I can go to the Ubuntu repositories and install the codecs." Well, the thing is, with those licenses that Ubuntu has are single use only, which means you have to go download them because only you can use them. But if you pull them down and recreate and respin Ubuntu and try to distribute it, then the issue that you run into is licensing. And right now, I think a lot of people get away with it because they're not a corporation. They're not a business.
And there's no police coming to your door saying, "Have you got MP3 codecs installed?"
Right.
It doesn't happen. Yeah.
Whereas, where PC Open Systems, Canonical, Red Hat, Novell, SUSE, or Microfocus, or whoever owns it now, we're targets, and we pretty much are. But like, we had to be very careful on what we distribute because, as an entity, we're more likely of a target.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, so I could see like a corporate environment with 150 computers needing to deploy Linux. If they had to install a free open source version of Linux and then install all the codecs and things. Now, it could be done through package management and maybe a script and things like that. But what you're doing is offering something that it's out of the box, ready to go. It's got the commercial aspects already built in. And we would expect other advantages as well. Is there a real, is there any other differentiation between FreeSpire and Lynspire that, free downloaders would need to know about? Like, if I can install the codecs myself on my own personal computer, I'm okay with that. Right. What else is different about it?
Well, we also include Wine and Linspire. We don't include FreeSpire, and we also include advanced security measures like antivirus, intrusion detection, and things like that. We also include that, and VirtualBox comes pre-installed as well. Okay. Now, one thing that I'm trying to do, and some people in the Linux community are going to hate me for it, is I'm actually trying to work with code weavers to see if I can get crossover office that we can actually put into our own repository so users can get that. I'm going to say for you guys, it's going to be free of charge. For us, obviously it's going to cost some, but also I'm trying to work out an agreement with some other entities for commercial operating systems that you can actually install onto Lynspire through VMs, through VMware, not VMware, through VirtualBox, and also be supported that way.
Nice. So again, for those who are not really familiar with these terms, code weavers, Wine, and VirtualBox, similar reason for having those things. Code weavers and Wine are kind of connected in a way that they use the same software base, but they allow you to install Windows programs on a Linux operating system. So that's key here. Right. So we're talking about having a commercial version of Linux that out of the box supports that and is licensed for that. VirtualBox, on the other hand, allows you to install Windows into Linux, which is a great thing as well if you want to be able to say you can't get it to run in Wine.
Right.
So that's cool.
I don't want to go as far as Robo Linux. I don't know if you ever heard of that, where you have different VMs for each individual application.
Oh, yes. That could be brutal from a user standpoint, for sure. So this is definitely much more user-friendly for the novice user. And I like this, Roberto, because I feel like I'm personally getting a better understanding of why you have to sell Lynspire and how it differs from FreeSpire. So me as a personal user with Linux experience, I can install FreeSpire and I can install all these things. I can get code weavers and VirtualBox and I can say accept the user terms, and that's between me and Oracle and me and code weavers for me to accept those licensing agreements. But with Lynspire, you have included the acceptance of these license agreements, the payment to them for the proprietary use of their software, and now I've got something that if I'm not a Linux user, if I don't know how to set that stuff up, hey, pay the little bit extra and get a version that's already set up for me. That's cool. Looking at some of the controversy surrounding Lynspire, here's one for you. Lynspire was always running as the root user. Are we still going to have a desktop that is running as the root user, or out of the box? Thank you.
No.
All right.
And that was one of the questions I've had a lot too. Is, you know, and I also want to make something clear too. A lot of your users have asked me if I plan to redistribute the classic ISOs, the classic versions. And we thought about that. We really did, but pretty much they're useless right now.
Yeah.
You know, click and run doesn't work on there anymore, and there's really no point in redistributing the classic ISOs except for maybe nostalgia reasons.
Sure. You know what I would like to see?
That would be a support nightmare.
Yes. I don't care about the ISOs. I don't care about the discs as far as the software that's on them, but I would love to get my hands on one of the old Lindos box sets, because they had retail distribution, and I can't for the life of me find that box, because as soon as you made this announcement, we all went to our garages and looked for the old boxes, and unfortunately they've all been recycled. Jeff, one of our hosts here, has the case itself for Lynspire and Lindos, but has recycled the discs and the box itself. So those kinds of things for nostalgia purposes are there. So did you get access to the original source code during the acquisition?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So we're looking at, this is officially really Lindos, Lynspire, and how has it changed with the release of Lynspire 7 this month?
Pretty much what we did was we changed the base from Debian back to Ubuntu.
Okay.
Okay. Right now it's on Ubuntu 16.04.3. We do have some driver changes and everything that you don't get from Ubuntu. And so, and like you said, we removed the whole root user thing, because we actually thought about that. There was a reason why they did that before. Before they did that because Windows was doing that. Okay, and they wanted their software to be as much like Windows as possible. They wanted people to have the same kind of interaction. And we looked at that, and I was like, well, that's crazy these days. So, and, you know, I had some people tell me, well, it's not the same. Well, it's not meant to be the same. You know what I mean? Of course, we're going to make improvements. We're going to make changes.
Sure.
And we're going to keep going to make these changes into this distribution.
Yeah, we certainly, we don't need a one-to-one Windows alternative here. Right. What I think is important, and what I think Lindos really hit on back in 2001, 2003, was that we need, and there are other distros out there that are doing a fair job of this, but Lindos and Xandros were always at the forefront back in the day. We need something that's a good alternative and easy to migrate over to Linux. Lindos was my first Linux operating system where I could remove Windows completely from my system and switch to Linux. So that's what I think what's exciting about that. You started talking about CNR, click and run. Is that still something that's available on Lynspire?
No, what we did was we just basically put in the GNOME Software Center, because pretty much anything's click and run these days. Right. You don't need to have a special infrastructure for doing this, except for the fact that we are going to add some commercial repositories to Lynspire. Okay. That's a good call. I think that's a good call. Click and Run was their proprietary front end for, I guess, apt, the installation of packages, right? It was brilliant, but now we've got App Image, for example, which is doing a very similar thing to what Click and Run did, which was give you a packaged software that you could just install by clicking on it, just like an exe, like a setup.exe in Windows or an MSI file. That's what Click and Run did, but through package management, we can do the same. Through App Image, we can do the same nowadays, so a lot's changed. So I think that's a good call to deprecate that, for sure. Yeah, and then we also have support for snap packages in there. Okay. As well, so people who have to use snap packages, we also do support snap packages. And for Lynspire HPC, which is our high-performance computing desktop, we also have support for some Unix applications, as well as more Fedora and Red Hat-based software. Like the installers themselves? RPM and things like that. So you don't have to use Alien anymore? Or? Right. Okay, so we don't have to convert to deb packs. That's cool. On HPC, though. That's not on the regular Lynspire. This is a different distro of the new Lynspire? Right. Okay. Lynspire HPC, which is our high-performance computing, it's for high-performance desktops. Right. It's not something like you would use, for example, for like researchers. Yeah. things like that.
It'll be neat to get familiar with your product line as it grows. I mean, this is, again, a very new announcement, a very fresh announcement coming out of your company. So, you know, it's all...
Surprisingly, we've been working on this thing for over a year.
You have been, but we're just like, what?
Yeah.
Lynspire's back? Like, the internet is abuzz. Absolutely. So, with your community focus and with...
We had to keep it very quiet.
Oh, no doubt.
The thing is that we had a lot of betas that came out between them. We had betas throughout the year, and we had to make sure, we had to tell people, look, you can't distribute this.
Yeah, okay. Well, make sure you get me on your list, okay?
Okay.
We'll keep it on the down low. With your community focus, Roberto, how is Lynspire? I mean, FreeSpire is the obvious answer, but take it one step further. How is Lynspire going to give back? And this goes back to how Lynspire Inc. did things wrong. How are you going to give back to open source?
Well, the thing that we're going to do is all our kernel changes and everything are going to go back into the community, of course. Anything we change in the kernel, anything we change in the software itself, we will absolutely contribute that back to the communities at large, such as XFCE, which our desktop is based off, the kernel.org guys, and things of that nature. And also another thing, too, is that another thing that we're doing is that, yes, you have to pay a subscription license for a year. Okay, and but unlike what Lynspire did, with where they charge $49.99 a year, that was mandatory. For us, it's not. You pay it one time.
That's your support contract?
Right. If after a year you decide you don't want support or you don't need support, we don't cut off access, any kind of update, any kind of software. Okay. The software center will still run and everything. But the thing is, if you don't pay the support contract, what happens is, like when 8.0 comes out, you won't get that. But you'll be supported. You'll get all the backports and all the updates. So
you'll have support for your currently installed version, but just not the roll up to the next, which is you know, that makes sense in light of the fact that we're understanding now that this is for commercial use and in a business environment where, you know, you're paying licensing fees and you're paying for proprietary stuff. So, you know, and I'm a software salesperson myself, professionally, and I understand that, you know, there are fees associated with things moving forward. So from a FreeSpire perspective, on the other hand, so looking at the community edition, the one that I might install on my home computer for free, is there support provided for that?
Yeah, for $29.99 for a year. We will actually support that, because believe it or not, there are some companies that want to run the free version.
Okay.
They don't care. They don't care about the proprietary codecs. They don't care about the proprietary software.
Right.
You know, so that was one thing that we looked at too. And you know, some people were like, "Well, what do we have to do to get support for a year for FreeSpire itself?" And so we decided on $29.99 for that one, because it's much less to support.
Sure, yeah. So for a home user or a business that wants to just use a basic install or whatever, it makes sense. So we'd encourage comments below. I think we've really touched on a few points tonight that help us to understand, first of all, how Lynspire 7 and forward is going to be different from the old Lynspire. I certainly get a different, let's say, aura from you, Roberto, than I do from your predecessor, Robertson.
He is a character.
Yeah, definitely a character. So the old founder of Lynspire certainly had a very different business model, very different mindset, and so you know, but amazing software and a really good grasp on what users really need in order to make the transition from Windows to Linux. So this could be a real answer to that. And
I think there was. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, you go ahead. Sorry.
Back then, back when he was running, especially towards the latter years, back when it felt like it was going to shut down.
Yeah.
Because I had a feeling in 2006, after seeing what they were doing, and they were trying to make click and run available for everybody, it kind of felt like to me they were looking for a way out.
Yeah.
And then some of the stuff that they were doing at the time just made no sense to me. And then the whole controversy with Kevin came up, and with Michael, and it just turned into a free crap storm. And it
really did.
It was sad the way it ended.
Yeah. No, I absolutely agree. And that's where my initial question came out. Like, this is the controversy that you've bought into, my friend. Yeah. So I'm eager, maybe this is step one of this interview of the community understanding the difference here. And I really hope that we've established that tonight. So really looking forward to all that you've got to come. How can we obtain a copy of FreeSpire or Lynspire at this point?
With Lynspire, you can go to www.pc-opensystems.com, and you can go to our web store or to the Linspire OS link in the top bar, and you can go ahead and purchase a copy from there. FreeSpire, you go through our Open Source Labs page, which is on that same page, that same URL. Go through Open Source Labs and go down to FreeSpire, and you can actually download FreeSpire right there, or if you need that support, you can actually purchase it there as well.
Cool.
But you're free to download it, free to redistribute, free to give it away as many times as you want.
You heard it here, folks. Any hope of getting the .coms?
I'm trying to.
Yeah.
But the thing is, that was set up. This is part of the crap storm we were talking about.
Yeah.
Michael purchased freespire.org because of the issue that he was having with Kevin at the time.
Didn't Kevin do that? Wasn't it
Kevin bought freespire.com, which is then
.com. Oh, okay. Because I know Michael was trying to get freespire.com from him.
Right. They had freespire.org. And that was part of his trademark lawsuit that he had with Kevin.
Yeah.
Was that he wanted to prove that he had a product called FreeSpire, even though he had already sold it to Xandros, which made no sense to me. He had already sold the damn thing.
Well, because freespire.com was set up specifically to speak on Michael Robertson's business practices.
Right.
Exactly. It was a bit of a political crapshoot, as you say.
Right. Yeah. Alleged.
Yes.
You have to say alleged.
Yeah. Oh, yes. Alleged.
Because when I was talking about it, I was like, yeah, I better say alleged because otherwise I'll get sued.
Yes, and you do. I guess that's another thing is you've got to be really careful because you've bought into the Michael Robertson empire, which back in the early days was he was doing some great stuff, but his business practices and things did not end up well for MP3.com or Lynspire Inc. or any of those. So good luck.
But some people said that he started Lindos, and that they felt that he started Lindos as a money grab for Microsoft. Because some people say he thought he knew he was going to be sued. I actually don't agree because, like I said, I've actually read a lot of the stuff that happened back then from now an insider's view of it. Mm-hmm. And I really think that to give him some credit, I think he was really trying to do something great. I don't think it was just a money grab like he had with MP3.com.
Oh, yeah. No, he's a brilliant guy, and he built some really brilliant things. Not to digress, but I'm sure the questions will come up. But like MP3.com is a great example of something that he built from the ground up that was amazing. But then where it all went wrong is the sellout and the absolute lack of care for his community. Right. Where everybody who was a user on MP3.com went, what? I just lost all my files? I just lost, as an artist, I lost my ability to sell my CDs, and now someone else owns it and has turned it into something else. Same thing happened with Lynspire, where all the users were left going, what? What happened?
Right. Especially because I've got some email from these lifetime users, from people that bought the lifetime subscription. Mm-hmm. And they're like, are you guys going to honor that?
Yeah.
And in case you have any of those guys here, we actually did talk about that, and we actually did think about that, and we're not required to support it, but one thing that we decided was for $59.99, we were going to go ahead and reestablish them as lifetime users to where they can go ahead and get Lynspire, and that's for the lifetime of the product.
That's cool.
I felt like we had to do something for these guys. Because it did seem like they got crapped on.
Yeah, I have no records from back then. Did you obtain a list of lifetime subscribers?
No, we did not.
So if you were a lifetime Lynspire user,
if you were a lifetime subscriber and you can actually give me an invoice and prove it to me,
that's tough.
Yeah,
that's tough.
Actually, we've had a couple people that have done it.
Wow. Okay.
They kept their subscription.
Well, that's cool.
They kept their invoices and stuff. So they can come to me with an invoice, then oh dude, the stuff that we got from Linspire, and like I said, it was poorly managed towards the end. What we got was what Xandros got.
Yeah, and they
there's
just
a lot of
they just put it in a box in the back room.
Excuse me.
They just put it in a box in the back room when they acquired it.
Right.
Pretty much. So,
they pretty much. We got a bunch of USB keys, and the funny thing, these are like 128 kilobyte megabyte USB keys.
Oh wow!
A bunch of files, a box of paperwork, and we're like, "This is it."
Wow.
Oh, and some hard drives. With all the source code and everything to it.
Start making copies. Well, Roberto, I am encouraged by everything that we've heard here tonight. Different company, same great OS, but with major improvements and a community focus. Right. I think we're really on the right track here with Lynspire, and I'm excited personally to see what comes of this. So, all the best to you. Thank you for your time, and we'll definitely post a link below. And if you have any questions for Roberto, for myself, if you want to know more about the new Lynspire, make sure you visit their website. And is there a direct way that they can contact you on the website, I suppose?
Yes, there is. We have our email addresses on the website, especially mine. I put mine up there front and center.
Community forum?
And also the Lynspire page.
Great.
We also have a link to Facebook.
Do you have a community forum at this point?
Not yet. We're in the works of getting that set up.
Great.
But we do have a Facebook page that we allow the community to actually talk, converse, and do everything they want. So that's on top of the page, on the Lynspire OS page. They can just click like, and they can join in the conversation. And as soon as we get a forum set up, we'll definitely send you guys a link, and we'll put that up there as well.
Appreciate that. All right, well, thanks for your time, man, and keep up the great work. Really excited about everything that's to come. We've got to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to actually take a look at Lynspire 7. Stick around.
You've got mad skills, now hone them. Learn new skills or improve your existing ones with online video tutorials and training from lynda.com through our special link at cat5.tv/lynda. Learn software, technology, creative, and business skills you can use today to help you achieve your professional goals. Join today and start learning. We'll give you this chance to try it absolutely free with unlimited access to all of the courses. Sign up now for free, cat5.tv/lynda. Welcome back. This is Category 5 Technology TV. How cool is that?
That was awesome.
We were chatting during the break there and started talking about the whole fact that the URL is getting a little difficult to figure out.
Yes.
Word of mouth is an important thing. So we did a search and found linspirelinux.com. So Roberto's just going to set that up and get that up and going. So by the time you watch this, linspirelinux.com, check it out. Okay, ready to take a look at Lynspire 7?
Yes.
Again, go back to episode number 303 to see how the old version looked. And ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to introduce you to Lynspire 7. This is a fresh, clean install. And as we learned there during the interview, this has got some commercial components. I see first and foremost Google Chrome, nice. Not a commercial application. You don't have to pay for it.
Right.
But it is not free open source software. So, but nice that it's there. I wonder then if I can get straight on to things like Netflix and that kind of stuff. Should we give it a try? What kind of things do we want to check out today?
Yeah, you're good.
Yeah. All right, so
we should find that people who have data theft me.
Let's find all those people, destroy them.
That's right.
If I can remember my Netflix password, because I sign in about once every 10 years. There we go. Nice. We've got Peppa Pig on demand.
Look at that.
Nice. All right, so does it work out of the box? Whoops, something went wrong. Okay. So we've done this before, where we can. Let's see if I can remember how to do this. But we've done it on the show. DRM video. You know what? I'm not even gonna. Don't worry. You can make it work in Chrome. Go back to our website and do a search for Netflix Chrome, and you'll be able to get it going.
Right.
Chrome is already pre-installed. I didn't have to go through and set it up, so that's cool. All right. So let's get a look. What do we have? Let's go all. Woohoo! So first of all, what do you notice? This looks very much like a Windows operating system.
I like the nostalgia of seeing these colors is just, it's bringing me back. I'm loving this.
Yeah, this is very similar to the original look and feel.
Yeah.
I like. Now this is my first time loading anything on here. So if it uses
selection of backgrounds.
I like to stylize things. Although I just want to make sure I can put it back. Yeah, there's the Lynspire one. Because I don't want to lose the Lynspire.
Well, yeah. Oh, look at that.
Nice.
I like how smooth.
I like how zippy it is. Sweet. All right.
Now, how was the boot on this computer?
Super fast. Super fast. Now I've got a bit of a more decent computer than I did back in the day of Lynspire, but so look at all the stuff that comes with it. And out of the box, it worked just fine. It's got my networking and Wi-Fi.
Wow.
One of the things that he mentioned was the loss of click and run.
Yes.
But I noticed that the icon is still the same, so let's bring that up and see what that looks like. Welcome to software.
Very ingenious name.
Mm-hmm. Sweet. Okay, so one of the things that I'm going to want is the GIMP.
Yes.
GNU image manipulation program. How would I find that?
Oh, look at that. It even shows you what apps are already installed, so you don't even have to... That's nice.
Where do you see that?
Well, like...
Oh, it has a little icon there. Ah, okay, nice.
That is a nice feature.
Sweet. Okay, so graphics. What do we have? We've got Blender. Nice. Darktable. We've looked at those on the show. And GIMP, GNU image manipulation program. I like that. Install. Sweet. Enter my password. And as easy as that, looks like she's going. Nice. So
that's nice. Okay, so now I'm assuming maybe it's linked to the account that you have created with your software, but you didn't even have
the software installer?
Yeah, you didn't even have to create like account to sign up to get apps or anything. Like it's all part of it.
Yeah, it's part of like Debian repositories and things like that. But notice though that I did have to enter my password.
Yes, for access to install on your computer.
Yes. And so as Roberto had confirmed for us, we're not running as the root user.
Correct.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Sweet. Okay.
Sorry that did not work.
What? Oh, I haven't got internet turned on this computer. What? No.
Yeah, you did. You were looking at Netflix.
Yeah, I did look at Netflix. Install GIMP image editor failed. Manager followed. App transaction returned result. Exit failed.
Oh. Still, that's smooth.
To be fair, now I am looking at, am I still online? Maybe my internet has gone down because I am on Wi-Fi. Let's just verify. No, it's up. So that's cool. Let's try again. Because I'd hate to give y'all... Yeah, there's something up there with my connection to that. I don't know why. I don't want to give you a bad impression if I run into little issues here or there because I haven't set anything up or done anything, and I am just... Oh, I do have an Ethernet cable plugged in. That's good. And it's bridged, yeah. Let's try again. So the fact that I'm entering my password means that it's doing this as a non-root user, so it's becoming super user when I run that. I think my internet dropped out there for a moment, and that's why it was...
It could be. It's bad weather outside, so...
And we are, just so you know, if you're watching and you're not familiar with the show, we use LTE internet, so we are susceptible to that kind of thing.
Yep.
All right, so that's going away. What else do we have? Okay, Office Suite. We've got LibreOffice.
Yep.
So if I bring up Writer, for example, version 5, nice. They've done away with version 1.1, Jeff.
Yes, which is good.
So that's sweet. Looks just like Microsoft Office, that kind of thing. So.
See, and as I'm looking at this, I'm going, man, is going to be so easy for people to migrate.
It's so fast,
into a very simple Linux environment.
Games doesn't really come with much, but you can install those through the software application.
It's pretty standard, though,
with
Linux.
Yep.
I like that it's got the Skype.
I like not only that, but that I don't see cruft. I don't see a bunch of extra junk.
Right.
I don't see a bunch of, like, you remember on Windows, and I've had this conversation before, on Windows when you installed stuff, you get a bunch of, like, uninstall.
Yeah, that is my biggest complaint about Windows.
I really hate the menus. It's just full of junk, and Windows 10 is
just rancid as far as the menus go. You have to know the name of things in order to find it.
Okay, I saw software updater.
Software updater?
You were flipping through
Well,
quickly.
here, let's try. If I don't know where it was, I can type in. There you go.
Yeah, software
and updates, software updater,
and
software.
Is that just would that be for updating the base software on the
It says
computer?
GIMP is installed. Well, let's take a look. It's all new to us.
Checking for. Look at that.
I'm going to close out of this. It says the GIMP is installed, which there's an interesting blank button and then launch. So we're seeing there are probably some tweaks that they need to do to make everything kind of perfect.
Wow, and there's already an update.
Oh, what does it do? All right.
Look at that.
So this is telling me that there's an update for my computer. Okay, that's cool. So again, GUI front end, we've done away with the need for terminal, although it is still there. So if you're a terminal baby, you can bring it up. You can do your stuff.
And it's full service.
There you go. What do you think, Sasha?
It's very nice.
Intuitive, easy to
Yes.
use, super fast. And it's Lynspire. It looks and
Yeah.
feels very, very much like Lynspire of old. But it is XFCE, if you can believe it. From what I understand, this is all XFCE driven.
Really?
Yeah. So, but it looks great. What do y'all think?
I'm excited.
Post your comments below. I think this could be, like, I always love Lynspire.
Oh, yeah. Well, just the fact that it's back. I mean, I've got an old laptop at home. I can't wait to put it on to see how it works.
Yeah.
Because it'd be great to add life to an old laptop.
And if you want to just jump, pardon me, if you want to jump right in, just go grab FreeSpire. It's free. So
Yeah, that's true.
give it a go on your system, and you'll be flying.
Nice.
I love it. And that's just out of the box. So only thing I installed was GIMP. Chat room, you want to know how does it look and run? Let's bring it up. It's under graphics. Nice and easy. So this is, on this particular laptop, as I mentioned, this is a better laptop than what we had 10 years ago, but it is, it's just got 4 gigs of RAM, and I think I've allocated 2 gigs to the VM. So it's not got smashing specs or anything like that. But as far as responsiveness, like when I move stuff and touch stuff, it feels very, very zippy. Yeah, it's... And there is something to be said for that, I think.
Yes.
When things just feel zippy, when I click on an application, when I move something around on the screen, I don't like there to feel like there's latency there. So, cool.
Very nice.
I'm excited. LynspireLinux.com is where you're going to find it. Good time. Check it out.
Cool.
Over to you.
All right. Here are the stories we're covering this week in the Category 5.tv newsroom. We'll explain the latest threat, dubbed Meltdown and Spectre. Lithium-ion batteries in HP notebook computers and mobile workstations that are not customer replaceable are being recalled. We'll tell you which products are affected, so stick around. Remember the VTech hack we reported on back in 2015? The FTC has finally reached a settlement deal with the toy maker. And Toyota is working with a handful of companies to create an autonomous electric fleet of vehicles. These stories are coming right up. Don't go anywhere.
Whether you shop on ThinkGeek, GearBest, B&H Photo Video, eBay, or Amazon, or even if you want a free trial of Audible, you'll find the best deals and support the shows we produce by simply visiting the shopping sites you already frequent by using the links on our website. Visit category5.tv/partners for the full and ever-growing list and help us create more free content like this show. Thank you for shopping with our partners, and thank you for watching.
This is the Category 5.tv newsroom, covering the week's top tech stories with a slight Linux bias.
I'm Sasha Rickman, and here are the top stories we're following this week. The latest threat has been dubbed Meltdown and Spectre. But what is it? Well, we gave it a week for the facts to start percolating, and here's the lowdown. Google's Project Zero revealed the details last week of a vulnerability impacting Intel chips going all the way back to 1995 and confirmed rumors that involved the use of speculative execution. They also went against comments made by AMD that said it was not affected. Google said these vulnerabilities affect many CPUs, including those from AMD, ARM, and Intel, as well as the devices and operating systems running them. The flaws, dubbed Meltdown and Spectre, allow an attacker to read memory that should not be accessible. This allows a virtual machine to read the memory of the host machine, thereby having access to memory of other VMs hosted on that machine. Modern CPUs use speculative execution to increase performance. The concern, therefore, is that by patching against the exploit, performance will also suffer greatly. While the response to Meltdown and Spectre hasn't been as smooth as originally hoped, vendors appear to have done a thorough job. Meltdown, though easier to exploit, is also easier to protect against. Operating systems updates should appear successful and should do a solid job for Intel, Apple, and future ARM chips that are susceptible to the attack. Spectre, on the other hand, is going to be tricky. It doesn't have any clean, simple fix. Unlike the other attacks, there doesn't appear to be any way of implementing an operating system level fix. Appropriate application level fixes is in all likelihood going to require lots of manual effort by developers. Longer term, it seems likely that Meltdown will recede into the distance, an annoyance perhaps, but fully patched and protected against, while the rather more subtle Spectre is going to be with us for some time. The best thing we can do for now is update our systems to get the latest OS patches and watch it as the story continues to unfold. Wow, well...
This is an interesting one.
Yeah, it absolutely is. Now, I wonder why Meltdown and Spectre. Like, how do they come up with these sorts of strange names?
Because it wouldn't be as fun to call them banana and chocolate.
Right.
It's the chocolate.
I don't know. Meltdown seems ominous. Spectre doesn't seem that bad to me.
Wait till you encounter it.
Yeah, that's true. Now, what I find so interesting is that there doesn't appear to be a way to fix... Sorry, was it Spectre that they can't fix? Without doing just software fixes. There's no way to get into the basics. It makes me wonder if this is going to open the door to some sort of a lawsuit that they've permanently made some computers and networks vulnerable, and as such they're on the hook for the hardware to fix. Like, it opens the door to that kind of stuff.
Where would it end, though?
This is certainly
that is the big question.
Beginning. Yeah. This is the beginning of that story. No doubt there will be updates to follow. This is not... Yeah, this is not...
Yeah, and we'll see what kind of firmware patches come out, how... Right now it's still very speculative how much performance is going to be impacted by the fixes.
Yeah.
So I guess we'll just have to stand by and see.
Exactly. Now, lithium-ion batteries in HP notebook computers and mobile workstations that are not customer replaceable are being recalled. The recall involves certain lithium-ion batteries compatible with HP notebook computers and mobile workstations. The affected batteries were sold with the notebook computers and mobile workstations and were also sold separately as replacement batteries. Approximately 2,600 affected batteries were sold in Canada, 50,000 in the United States, and 1,900 in Mexico. The recalled batteries were sold over a 2-year period from December 2015 to December 2017 at various retail locations and online. The problem is that the battery can overheat, posing a potential burn and fire hazard. The company has not received any reports of incidents or injuries in Canada. In the United States, the company has received 8 reports of overheating batteries and 1 report of injury. And in Mexico, the company has received 1 report of battery overheating and no reports of injury. This recall affects several models of HP, Envy, Pavilion, ZBook, X360, ProBook, and more. So make sure you review the HP battery recall website to see if you're affected. The product name can be found by utilizing the keyboard shortcut Function and Escape or on the barcode label on the bottom of the notebook PC. Wow. So...
Now, would an overheating battery melt the computer potentially?
Sure, plastic computer, why not?
So it could set it on fire.
And the battery chassis is usually plastic, right?
Yeah, that's true.
And it would set it on fire,
Could.
which would be...
We've encountered that with Samsung's
the phones,
kerfuffle.
So there hasn't been a lot of injury. There's been a couple, I'm not saying that the person injured isn't, but there's been
usually if your laptop is on fire, you wouldn't lay down on top of it.
Right, but I wonder if it ever caught fire. I'm thinking injury, maybe it was overheating on somebody's lap and they just didn't remove
That's
it.
what I'm thinking.
Right?
And then they're going, wow, this is really hot.
Now, I have had my laptop on my lap before. Now, I'm not saying
it's a good place for a laptop.
Yes.
Yeah.
Atop my lap, and it has gotten warm. So my battery is probably not a problem, right? But are there ways, because obviously you don't want things to overheat. It doesn't help performance. Are there ways to circumvent that so that you wouldn't have an overheating? Can you do something
Well, in this
specific?
case, it's a defect, right? So, but generally speaking, your laptop, and if you look at your laptop, lift it up, look underneath, you'll see vents, like vent holes, and that's where it draws air in from or blows air out of. Usually it comes in from the bottom and then out the side of the chassis.
Right.
So if you're sitting on like a blanket and you've got it on the bed or something like that and it's unable to draw air in, it can actually overheat. So that can cause damage to the internal component.
You can get little stands for underneath your laptop. Some of them come powered.
Like a bamboo stand.
Yeah, exactly.
Some of them have fans,
Yeah. So, I mean, there's ways around it just to allow some airflow.
Okay.
Put it on a book. Like a hardcover book while you're...
Okay, so it's okay as long as it's on a hard surface. You're fine.
Well, I would think like instead of on the bed or the blanket or whatever, something that's going to obstruct the airflow, if you had it on something hard, like a book or something, then that would help.
Oh, okay.
That's the poor man's little holder case thing.
Awesome, thank you. The U.S. Federal Trade Commission has agreed to a settlement deal with a children's electronic toy maker that it accused of collecting kids' personal information and failing to properly secure that data. The government watchdog said that VTech will pay $650,000 and agree to a set of privacy and security requirements in order to settle charges that it violated both the Children's Online Privacy Protection Act and the FTC Act. The settlement deal puts to bed allegations by the FTC that VTech broke the law with its operation of the following: Learning Lodge, Kid Connect, Planet VTech Games, and educational websites for kids. And specifically, the allegation that the company did not properly secure the information on millions of children and parents prior to the 2015 hack of its services and theft of customer data. The breached Learning Lodge and Kid Connect services were said to have hosted around 2.25 million accounts that contained information on roughly 3 million kids. The accounts had things like the child's name, date of birth, and the gender, as well as the parent's name, physical address, email address, and security question answers. The toy maker will be required to cut the FTC a $650,000 check, about 22 cents per affected child, to settle the case. VTech will also agree to a stricter set of compliance requirements, including regular third-party security audits to check whether it is properly storing and encrypting its collected information, and to make sure it is getting express consent from parents before it collects any personal information.
Speaking about data theft, eh?
Yeah.
Right.
Wow.
I don't know if that's harsh enough a punishment. 22 cents per affected child.
Well, who gets the money too, right?
And like the occasional audit. How about you're done because you didn't do it right and kids are now affected for the rest of their lives, maybe.
But VTech is kind of like the gold standard in the industry for these kind of products for kids.
Smart toys and...
Yeah, I mean, I can't think of anybody else who does it more broadly than they would.
And
I mean,
openly.
Well, yeah. But it's funny that this has happened. I didn't know about the data breach in 2015, but we had, for our kids, leapfrogs.
Right.
Okay.
And they were from VTech. And I remember, you get the games, and then it asks you for these online accounts, and you can access other games from the accounts. And I remember saying to my wife, something seems wrong about this. Like, it's a kid's toy. Why should kids have to have accounts with all this information on it? And I called VTech and I asked them about it. I'm like, why?
Really?
Yeah. And they said, it's, so that you as a parent can know what's going on in their accounts, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, why would you even add that kind of information? It's just the way the system's set up. Yeah. And I had issues with it. So we never signed up. We ended up stopped using the devices because there was something about it. I just had this hinky feeling.
You were right.
There we go. I'm vindicated.
There you go. Now, of course, if they are going to figure out a way of protecting future children, that's great. But what about the past children? Like, it bothers me that now they have the name, gender, birth date, physical address.
Yeah,
like,
and
I
where
feel
is
like
that
that's
data? Who has that data?
And security
Santa
question
Claus.
answers. Like, I just worry about these children.
Billy, naughty.
These children now are growing up with one mark against them in the online world already, right? And how, I know.
Like, okay, I not saying data breaches and all this kind of stuff are okay, but the amount of information that parents put online about their kids already through Facebook, I can guarantee you your kid's life is categorized by Facebook.
Yeah.
They know their name. They know the
that's true.
toys that they play
Well-
with. Like, the fact that Facebook has 52,000 categories of your information, like, it's not like your kids are not already tagged and numbered.
So
And
what,
who
as
still-
a parent, because both of you are, so what, as parents, do you do to protect your kids against situations
I have a
like
cabin
this?
in the woods.
Yes.
Bubble Boy. Think Bubble Boy.
I see.
What I'm thinking about, go back to the picture point, how many of us still use a point and shoot or DSLR
Yeah.
camera? We all use our phones to take pictures of the kids at the park and stuff.
Yes.
It's more convenient.
Yep.
Our
Right.
phones have geolocation tracking, and the EXIF data of the photos actually contain longitude and latitude for where that photo was taken.
Yes.
So then I upload that to social media before I strip all the EXIF data. Guess what? Facebook now knows exactly where I was sitting, longitude and latitude, when I took that picture.
Eek.
So, like, all this data is there. And,
Okay.
and here, you know, digressing from VTech to now Facebook and everything else, but when data theft occurs, who gets that data? How do they aggregate it? What do they use it for? And these are children. We need to protect the children. And
So what do you do?
To a certain degree, when it comes to the online culture and the Internet of Things, you can only go so far when you have to trust that there's another company who's doing what's right.
yeah, a lot of it is trust.
Yeah.
A lot of it's trust.
So, but it's being smart. Don't get careless with that information.
Yeah, get to that point where you're like Jeff and say, something's a little fishy about
I
this.
was not in Russia today.
Just do a dual personality for each of your children. Your name is Jeff right now because we're in real life, but online your name is something else.
Samantha.
I don't know.
Do you have more for us?
Yeah, I certainly do.
Sweet.
Toyota has partnered with a number of companies to form the ePallet Alliance, which is a group intended to help guide its transformation as a mobility services company and to determine how it will make use of its new ePallet vehicle platform. ePallet is a modular driverless vehicle intended to suit a number of purposes all at once. The initial group of companies includes Uber, Didi, Mazda, Amazon, and Pizza Hut. They will be working together to help guide the direction of Toyota's concept vehicle, the ePallet, and how it develops and supports the mobility services it offers to companies as a result. Toyota discussed this as a way to help build a common platform that all businesses and companies can use as a plug-and-play open platform for building out their own mobility services, which they can then offer to consumers. For example, Amazon could use the vehicles for parcel deliveries and Pizza Hut could use them for pizza deliveries. The vision from Toyota is a vast one that would ultimately see its vehicles deployed as a fleet of flexible service vehicles that can switch from logistics to delivery to passenger travel as part of a large autonomous electric network. Toyota plans to launch the ePallet and the early results of its partnership with the Alliance at the Tokyo Olympics in 2021. So, here's the thing. With these vehicles, deliveries will have to change their definition because obviously a car cannot bring a pizza to your door.
Why not?
And Amazon cannot put
Bring
a package
me a pizza car.
to the step from the car. So now it's going to be in part, I think, part of the person, like the recipient of the delivery is going to now have to take a more active part in the situation. Like maybe meet the car at the road, or maybe it'll be like the Pizza Hut ice cream truck that drives down the road and then people just flag it to stop when you want a pepperoni pizza. I don't know. It's going to have to be
different. Absolutely, yeah, and I think the technology is we're gonna see it evolve overnight, and we've seen this in through the stories in San Francisco about the small robots and things.
Yeah,
there's no need for a driver, so you don't need to build it based on the old car model, right? So if you could really do away with the driver's seat, then why not? Why not have it something that shows up and uses NFC to detect when you approach it to take the pizza, and then it charges your card, and done.
Seems all right to me.
Yeah.
So I don't know, maybe I'm just thinking about the people factor. This is going to wipe out an entire industry of jobs.
But somebody has to put that pizza in the car.
No, they don't.
Not necessarily.
Conveyors.
Yeah.
That's true.
Robots.
Like,
who needs to even make the pizza anymore?
Oh, now there won't be any cross-contamination because that's human error.
College students everywhere are not going to have school money anymore. Like, how many college students do deliveries for pizza and stuff just to make a couple extra bucks?
So they need to learn how to fix autonomous cars. We're doing a full circle now. It's all trade.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, there's going to be a lot. I mean, I love the advancement we make in technology, but there's also the people factor of it. And the other thing I can't help but wonder is what happens when something goes wrong. You order pizza, but instead, nope, you just got that $10,000 fossil watch that somebody else ordered because the machine screwed up. Where's the liability on that?
I don't know. There's not people involved, so I don't think there'll be mistakes.
I'm not too sure about that.
Come on now.
I don't.
We're gonna have to. Everybody's searching for examples. I want to search for examples.
I don't think that it will be one vehicle that does Amazon deliveries and pizza deliveries.
But that's what you just.
No, it will be a
it can
fleet
change
of vehicles
roles.
that changes roles. But I don't think it goes
so
out on one run.
So it must have passenger seats.
Right. It wouldn't go on one run and be an Uber driver and a Pizza Hut delivery place, and it's got to be just interchangeable. Today you're the pizza car, and then tomorrow you're the Uber car with the pizza smell in it, and then all of a sudden those people are going to crave pizza. See?
Again, full circle. Nice.
Yeah.
We'll see how it comes about, but
it's interesting though.
Yeah, it's very cool, and we're seeing a lot of this stuff at CES this week, and seeing all the different manufacturers that are doing autonomous vehicle stuff, and it's really tough and yet exciting to sit down. And I want to do this, and I can't do this on the air, but to sit down and kind of think of predictions of how the technology could be used and how it could work.
Right.
Because really it comes down to changing the paradigm. You mentioned about jobs and things. Well, when the horse-drawn carriage became a thing of the past and the automobile took over,
people panicked.
A lot of people lost jobs, but new jobs were created.
And the horse population dropped.
But you know what I mean? We can't predict how the creation of the automobile is going to change the industry, let alone the world.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, you look at what we've accomplished as a society in the last 120 years, and you kind of go, where are we going to be in 50 years because of how quickly it's picking up? And you can't predict these kind of things. You can speculate all you want, but you just kind of have to see it play out, and you do the best you can to hope that it doesn't go awry, and end up with some sort of AI that takes over the world because we're actually screwing it up. I'm pretty sure that was a movie plot.
I'm pretty optimistic, I'll tell you.
It's going to go very well.
It's sick.
Big thanks to Roy W. Nash and our community of viewers for submitting stories to us this week. Thanks for watching the Category 5.tv newsroom. Don't forget to like and subscribe for all your tech news with a slight Linux bias. And for more free content, be sure to check out our website. From the Category 5.tv newsroom, I'm Sasha Rickman.
Nice. Thanks, Sasha. This is Category 5 Technology TV. It's been great fun having you here. Thanks again to our guest tonight, Roberto, from LynspireLinux.com. And we hope you check it out and tell us what you think of it.
Yes.
Lots of good stuff covered tonight.
I know.
Tons of little nuggets.
And don't forget, next week is our viewer question extravaganza.
My very favorite.
If you haven't sent in your questions yet, get onto our website, category5.tv. Click on Contact Us, and you'll be able to submit your comments, questions, and concerns. And we will share them next week. So take care. Have a great week, everyone.
Bye.